I don't know why I sent it into this video. But anyway, salutations, everybody. It is Mr. Santa Claus here, and today we get the gift of all gifts. That's right, the knowledge that we are just about 1 week away from returning to Commander Shepard and all the wonderful adventures he went on.
I can almost taste it.
We are so close. I think it all started off with rumors in the beginning of February of 2020. I made like a predictions video, and now here we are with the remastered trilogy right in front of us. It's so close. All right, so we got a lot of information to go over today, from day one patches to, of course, the size of this game, quality versus frame rate modes. We even got some not so good news on the front of streaming, but don't worry, I'm still doing my insanity mode playthrough. Nothing will stop me, not even Warner Brothers. With that said, if you're new here, you love RPGs, number one, we're talking about Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance soon. It's getting a re-release this year. Are you kidding me? And as we record this, it's coming out tomorrow. So I am hype overload right now. We're returning that. I'm announcing it right now. 2021 review will be on the way. But for now, we shift our attention to the other RPG, which is Mass Effect. So if you like RPGs in general, you're in the right spot. Sub up. Like button helps, by the way. Interactions, pop the video up the algorithm. Just gonna be honest. Anyway, with all of that, let's get into the day one patch. So this one isn't really egregious compared to previous day one patches or Cyberpunk's day zero patch, which was bigger than most games. For once, we have a day one patch that's okay. Like, you don't need super powered internet to get this game downloaded. This was discovered on a website called Orbis Patches, where we see Mass Effect Legendary Edition has a day one patch of 11.8 gigabytes. And what's even more interesting is there's a change log attached to this patch, so we know what it will include. And I'm sure BioWare at some point will detail further what this patch has, but if not, there is some light information here where it says that it will improve the performance, the stability, and fixes crashes, improves ambient occlusion. There are lighting improvements, both visual and performance related, and miscellaneous content fixes. Just little fixes here or there, no content additions, just to make that painfully clear. But one of the big focal points of this video is going to be the discussion of quality versus performance. Which do you prefer? I'm more of a performance guy, I'm gonna be honest. I like that frame rate, I like that silky smooth experience. So we've got the performance and as well as the quality for each of the consoles, from Xbox One to PS4, Series X, PlayStation 5, what frame rates they run at, what resolutions. So let's take a look now. This is on the official Mass Effect website, where it says that for favoring quality, as in visual fidelity, the PS4 will go up to 30 FPS at 1080p. The PS4 Pro will go up to 4K at 30 FPS. As for the PS5, it'll go up to 4K 60 FPS. Xbox One will be at 30 FPS 1080p, and the Xbox One X as well as Series S will be 4K 30 FPS. Meanwhile, the Series X is at 4K 60 FPS. Meanwhile, if you're favoring frame rate, then the PS4 Pro as well as the PS4 will run it at 60 FPS. However, the difference is 1080p versus 1440p on the PS4 Pro. Meanwhile, PlayStation 5 on frame rate can run it at 1440p 60 FPS. Xbox One can do 1080p 60 FPS. The Xbox One X and Series S can do 1440p at 60 FPS. And last but not least is the Xbox Series X at 120 FPS 1440p, which is quite impressive. Now, a note at the bottom states consistency of target frame rate and resolution is dependent on platform. The more powerful the hardware, the more consistently you will experience the specified target frame rate and resolution. This is something I've sort of aired concerns about, and you may think that I'm just getting a little overly anxious here, but hear me out. Look at the wording for the entirety of the frame rate and quality section. I'm not saying this game's going to be broken or run poorly, but the wording is up to 30. That does not mean locked at 30. So do keep that in mind. Now, that could just be because sometimes the frame rate dips from 30 to 29 or 60 to 59. It may not be ridiculous, but the fact that there isn't a full commitment there does have me a smidge on edge, because we haven't seen this game really running in action outside of a couple of trailers. We haven't seen raw gameplay, at least as of the time of recording this video. So as excited as I am, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it, I wanted to make sure I just aired a slight concern. If I saw 10 minutes of gameplay maybe I'd feel a little better about things. But then again, Cyberpunk really just destabilized how game hype is handled, because we saw 44 minutes. Granted, it was in 2018, but we saw a lot of that game and it still came out with pretty poor performance. So I just want to go ahead and highlight that so people are aware of the wording here, because that is something that a lot of companies try to do. It's not just EA and BioWare. A lot of companies always say up to, and people go, oh, it's locked at 60. And then they play the game and it's not. And they go, well, what? You said it was locked at 60. No, it's not. They're saying up to. So just keep that in mind. Now, on the note of more technical stuff, let's talk about the game size, where we can see that Mass Effect Legendary Edition on Xbox Series X will take up a lot of space. 84.3 gigabytes. See, they always get you. You think you're going to get away from the massive day one patch, and they get you with an 84 gigabyte download if you want to do this thing digitally, all right? So just keep that in mind, but this thing is going to take up a lot of space. So clear your hard drives properly, get your expanded hard drives if you need them. Just be ready. This is almost a 100 gigabyte game, and this will continue to be the norm, I would imagine. We will continue to see a lot of these games just start to push 100 gigabytes and go beyond it as they get bigger and more detailed. This is also why Matty says, get your games physically. You still got to install stuff, but at the end of the day, if you can avoid downloading all of that, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm old school, as you can tell. I just got hyped over Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance. All right, I get it. Anyway, let's talk about streaming. So a lot of you know I'm going to be doing a Insanity playthrough here on the channel. We're going to stream it live, and then we're going to cut it up for a super cut so long as we hit our patron goal, and that's going to be really fun. I cannot wait to do all of that, but maybe a little bit of a snag here if it does not get addressed soon enough. Now, I've talked to BioWare and EA about this, so I'll provide some extra information, but right now the problem is this. This comes from a producer of content, a manager of content on Co-Carnage's, a pretty popular Twitch streamer's YouTube channel, where they say, did they also reveal that all the Mass Effect music for 1 and 2 is now being claimed by Warner Brothers on YouTube due to the movie rights being sold? That music will be DMCA potential on live streams and 100% claimed on YouTube. It's now in the movie music soundtrack risk list. Live streamers, YouTubers, Twitch streamers all need to know the risks. I had to mute all of Co-Carnage's Mass Effect 2 playlist already due to Warner. Still working on Mass Effect 1. It's that bad. Yeah, so I reached out to BioWare and their community managers, and I said, hey, have you seen this? What's going on with this? They're currently investigating it. They're looking for a solution right now. So there isn't anything beyond that to reports, but I did try to do diligence and get as much information as I could on it, but know that it's pretty immediately being handled. And I know this impacts a small select few of you, but I know a lot of you like to watch content. You want to see other people play Mass Effect, see it for the first time, and I'm sure BioWare and EA want to get this fixed. This game is going to be huge. A lot of people's first introduction to Mass Effect, a lot of people like myself returning, a lot of people basing content around it. Yeah, it's going to be a big game, so they 100% want to make sure this thing is streamable and there won't be any issues, especially because this isn't a game where you could do streamer mode, kind of like Fallout 76, and turn off the radio because the ambient music is still pretty strong. When you remove the music from Mass Effect, that's a piece of that DNA that makes Mass Effect so good. So I really trust they're going to figure it out. I don't know how they're going to do it. Hopefully they talk to Warner Bros, but I anticipate something will be figured out because this is pretty significant for the growth of the series. Now, how about a little bit of digital goodies? BioWare has been doing some pretty cool stuff. So there's a deluxe edition with content that you can just go ahead and download. It's just shy of 2 gigabytes. And if you head over to BioWare's website, I'll have it linked in the description down below. You can actually download all of the previous deluxe edition content for Mass Effect 2 and 3, as well as the first Mass Effect soundtrack, including the new legendary track, Re-Synthesis, which is pretty awesome. So this includes 68 iconic tracks, 2 PDF art books, 2 PDF comic books, and a Normandy digital lithograph. So I thought this was pretty cool, especially for those of you who love the soundtrack. You can just have that right there on your computer. But what was the more significant thing that was making a lot of noise in the industry was the ability to create your own key art. So there's this thing that you can do called My Shepherd, where you go through this selection of your favorite companions and your backup and your squad mates and your most loyal companion. And what happens is it customizes your own box art. You can also pick neutral, Paragon, Renegade. And what's really neat is you can print it out as you can see here, a wallpaper. This is mine personally, or you can actually use it as a box art for your own game. And I thought this was a really cool idea. I thought that this was something that a lot of other companies could take note of and try to do. I love the idea of customizing your own box art. I love having reverse images on the box art so you can like take out the sleeve and flip it over. Near Replicant did this. I just like having little doodads in the box. Right now that we've lost game manuals, that's like a rare commodity. I get really excited when companies think outside the box on ways they can do things. And this is a way for companies to do it digitally at that, right? It doesn't require you hurting the environment. You don't got to print a bunch of stuff. It doesn't require you upping the cost because you got to print stuff. So I think it's pretty sensible to take this digital solution, and I hope more companies do it. I like the idea of customizing the box art. I think it was a really novel concept. It's cool because it can be your own thing, how you envision Mass Effect, like your favorite companions, your path you walk, whether it be Renegade, Paragon, or Neutral. All of that stuff is there on the box art. So I really like this idea a lot. I wasn't like over the moon with it like I think a lot of people online were, but I thought it was still pretty neat, and I hope to see more companies do it. That's pretty much it when it comes to the big Mass Effect update. Just a lot of little things here and there, from patches to download sizes to overall what's happening with DMCA takedowns and such. So there's a lot to keep track of here as we get closer to the launch of Mass Effect. You already know, going to be a lot of videos. I don't need to say it twice. I've said it like 40 times. But anyway, I go ahead and leave you with all of this information. So let me know what you're thinking in the comments down below. Are you excited for Mass Effect Legendary Edition? I cannot wait to see your thoughts in the comments down below. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. Big thank you to all the patrons, all the members, all of the new people signing up. Thank you so much for pushing the limits of our content. We're already starting our brand new set of projects thanks to your support. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.